Hello and welcome to the Duck Talks number 15. And today we have to talk about a few things. And two of those things are highly important, and I need your feedback to that. And you will know what I will talk about when you hear it, obviously. But first, a little apology. Sorry for the delay on the Duck Talks, which I promised you. And in the background, you see the promised footage, a lot of pictures and photos from aircraft photographed by Exe, one of my good friends regarding War Thunder, and also my host basically that gave me a place to sleep the 3 days I was at the Hahnweide. And the Hahnweide, basically, I might have mentioned it before, it was awesome, to see real planes standing right next to them, even touching them. But jokes aside, it was really great hearing the engines, and seeing how close actually War Thunder is in respect of, simulating planes in a way. At least graphical, because flight models, I saw some differences, but I think it's a difference to play the plane in realistic, and having those third camera position, and then actually standing on the ground seeing it flying over you. And also the people I met there were awesome, seeing the people, their actual faces, which I just heard for over a year now, and also meeting somebody that is kind of related to War Thunder. Yes. He also was a very nice person. I think this person will actually watch this video, so hello there. The second part that I want to talk about is actually also highly important, or the most important part of the Duck Talks today, and that has to do with the tank reviews. And it was on my T-34-85 D5T video that I uploaded yesterday, or released yesterday. And I think, you have to see it like this. I thought I had an absolute unique winner with the kind and format of my tank reviews, to provide you with a good intro, to provide you with a proper tank review, while in the background there is running some gameplay, and then also featuring 2 gameplays, one arcade and one realistic. And I think it's rather unique. At least I don't know of somebody else that does this. And it's important in this way. First of all, I can, provide content that everybody is, interested in. Okay, he does a proper tank review. He compares them to other tanks in both realistic and arcade, and also comparing it to between realistic and arcade, so that I can make my own thoughts on top of it. The problem is, I thought I put too much information in a too short time. And the comment was from another YouTuber called New Sensei that does also tank reviews. And about the general idea of tank reviews, I have to give you a few thoughts first before I can talk on. Now, a tank review is obviously talking about the tank, and that is the most important part. Showing how the armor works, showing the interior, comparing it to its enemies, and then also probably, doing some kind of statement towards the tank, and then maybe also showing gameplay. And I was heavily inspired by Jingles like 3 years ago. Jingles is actually the person that brought me both into World of Tanks and War Thunder. And I think it's, now to us to provide you with information now that Jingles no longer covers War Thunder, which is a shame. Now, basically, everybody can do a tank review for himself. Gaijin offers us all the opportunity to not just have a look at the armor and also the interior, and also doing a test drive, and also watching the kill cam, or the hit cam, both when we get killed and when we kill the enemy. And this is a good opportunity to learn for everybody, but not everybody does have the knowledge or the experience overall to judge if what he just saw was the exception, or that it is the general rule, or to interpret it in the right way. And this is why I really think that my tank reviews are so important, because I have a lot of experience and I'd love to share it with you guys. Like in a way with the Sky Raider, you know. And that brings me, before I talk on with the tank reviews where the actual problem is, I want to tell you a little story about somebody that didn't know me. I was flying in some aircraft I don't remember, and I actually, I love to read the chat while, being in the climbing process. And then somebody said, yeah, he was really disappointed with this plane and this purchase and so on. And I was like, hey, I made a video about this plane, how to make it work. Yeah, about the Sky Raider. And then I actually made a test for myself. I invited him to the TeamSpeak and I talked to him. I provided him with the link to the video and I let him watch it. And after that he said, hey, well, there were some useful tips, thank you very much, and he subscribed. Now, to make the difference between shameless advertising and actually providing something, there is not too much difference. You just have to advertise your good stuff. And I thought, to make something unique without making something useless, I thought my tank reviews in the format where I made a tank review while there was in the background running some gameplay footage, and then, providing you with both arcade and realistic was something unique. And indeed, to show arcade and realistic is a good thing. The problem is the time. If I make a proper in-depth tank review, which is really important, that's the whole point, showing all the tips, all the tricks, all the possibilities and how to play it together with the ways of upgrade you should go through, as long as it is in the premium, or which shell to use, I have to talk about it. And the gameplay itself, at least one of it, needs a commentary of its own. Okay. Now I get it that the screen layout for the T-3485 was a bit too big. It was really literally a third of the gameplay footage. And also the argument was brought up by New Sensei that he couldn't concentrate on one in a single term. Now I got feedback from another subscriber of mine that said he likes the new format because it's less boring. Yeah, well, now I have two opinions, and I talked about the harder one. If somebody says it's less boring, well, you don't really come here for the tank reviews to be entertained, do you? You should come here, when you're willing to learn, when you're interested in the tank. And you might be interested for numerous reasons. Maybe it's a bad tank and you want to make it work. What can you do? Maybe you want to see good footage. Well, I could deliver this in a separate part, where I make like a 20 kill game and I show it to you. The next thing is, you might want to know if this tank is worth it, both for grinding towards it, for example, a high tier tank, or you want to know if a tank is worth the price, for example, when it's a premium tank. And I could, talk through you that. And so people come for the most different reasons to my tank reviews. The problem is that not everybody knows about my tank reviews, or that I'm even existing, If, there would be 1 million people and everybody gets shown my channel, I'm sure if they are interested in War Thunder, there is a high chance that I would get a lot of subscribers and a lot of views on all my videos, because I think they are rather good. They're not bullshit, put it like that. And I try to educate that, and everybody that is willing to learn is welcome. And even if you are here to get entertained, you're welcome here as well. But I can't provide you with everything in every video. So that is also the reason why I have like 440 subscribers, but not as much views on every video. And I know that. and I still will keep up the diversity in what I show you, both planes, both and tanks, and also realistic and arcade. Okay, planes arcade, I think I never did that, did I? Maybe some scenes, but overall, planes realistic is the way to go. For tanks, I'm convinced that arcade is, for me at least, grind-wise, the better option. So, now what I will definitely change in my tank reviews is the intro. I will no longer do a kill compilation like I did on the T-34-85. That actually deserves its own video, in my opinion. So that were 2 for 1, I guess. And it saves me a few minutes of times in total length, because the total length of the video might be the problem, featuring a proper tank review and to gameplay might end up at the 40-minute plus mark. And while I personally love to watch long videos, not everybody is willing to do so or does have the time. Now I might add some timestamps, to skip to give you the possibility to skip the tank if you already know it and you're just here for the gameplay. Well, yeah, but then, some information that you might not know or that you don't know, I don't know about, you skip that part. And so I think I will still review it the way I did it, but I will change the size of the tank review. Maybe I do the armor review, separately, and then talk while the gameplay again about it. And that might be the new option. But let me know in the comment section what you think about. And also, don't shy back from, providing me with feedback. I just mentioned New Sensei because I think that he knows a lot about tank reviews because he makes them himself. And also, he actually had the balls to come forward and also, made the effort of writing me such a long comment and providing me with ideas, positive criticism. Yes, that's it, that's good criticism. Now, that he hit me hard was because I was totally convinced that the basic format is a winner. But it seems like it isn't. I have to try it a little bit again. Now, at this point, I think we should go on with the DevServer problems. And that might be also the second big topic here. The DevServer, for me personally, always was a problem child of War Thunder. Now, the DevServer should, focus on to have a look at the vehicles, the upcoming vehicles, but the main purpose of a DevServer for the developers should be to receive reports about things that are not right about the tanks or the planes or new systems that we will see in the new patch. And we just simply don't have enough time. And furthermore, I personally didn't have the Golden Eagles to convert or the time to play through, despite the ×5 modulator, as it was advertised as a ×10, but I just could see a ×5. Now, I could be wrong here, but on the last time it was definitely ×10 on the patch before, or the DevServer before that. And also just to have 2 sessions where I just got in the news of the DevServer being open at all, just a few minutes in advance. My internet was not the best, so the 11, nearly 12 gigabytes of download took like 3 to 4 hours for my internet. My internet is not the best. And also I couldn't test the maps, I couldn't in-depth test all the tanks. I just had time for one proper preview, and I have to tell you right now, I'd rather do a proper preview than better realistic expectations videos with some gameplay, because as long as the tank doesn't change too drastically between the DevServer and the realistic live server, the proper live server, which we all play on, doesn't change too much, I think I let it be and let it count as a review. I did it on the Sture Emil and it worked out fine. There was, as far as I know, there was nothing changed. Alright, so that's that. Now, I didn't have the Golden Eagles that I usually had on on the dev server. Normally, the dev server provides me with all the golden eagles that I've ever had, but this time I just had the 4004 golden eagles, and that provided me with just enough golden eagles to purchase the BV238 to fly in a few battles, and to go through certain upgrades for the 88 half track. And yeah, I think that's a real shame, because I really want to have like 1 week time to properly cover the new stuff on the dev server, But maybe Gaijin wants to keep it short, so that the interest on the live server is still there. But I don't know. But if I may add, some positive criticism, we should get news on the dev server earlier, and the exact times. Now I know if there are problems that it gets shut down, yeah, but also just 2 sessions on Friday and Saturday. Not everybody does have time, not everybody does have the internet volume at that time, or like me, the download speed to download it like in 1 hour or half an hour, like Exe, for example. I hate you and your internet. Jokes aside, yeah, so I couldn't test all the vehicles, and the problem is, I'm really interested in getting on the dev server, but not everybody on the live server is interested to download 12 gigabytes for like a few hours of looking at the vehicles. And then those who do it are mostly, or at least as I see it, other YouTubers, and that is not a problem, but they are busy getting footage like me, and then talking about the vehicles. But the main purpose of the dev server, to provide feedback to the developers, reporting bugs or things that they think are not okay, they mostly don't do this. Now I think I did 1 report, and that's everything I had time for, basically, because I also was tired as hell after working hard that day. But yeah, the general message is that Gaijin should improve the way they handle the dev server, or just at least give us more time to look at things. Because, it doesn't make sense, at least for me, to make a dev server and then limit it very drastically. And that's kind of missing the point for me. And yeah, I think there should be another point that I make at this point, and I didn't mention it at the beginning, because this should be for all the guys that went with me so far in the video. First of all, a lot of thank you for looking at this video and listening to it. Then also, talking about the next patch and the general thoughts. I was now a bit ranting about the dev server, but I think the next patch itself will be great. We see a lot of AAA, we see a lot of gap fillers, although there is one plane for the Japanese that I don't understand, but I might do a video on it. The thing is this, as funny as it sounds, but the Soviets had no good high-tier AAA. They have that ZSU 57 too, but that's more like a sneaky tank destroyer. Everybody, Leopard driver, knows what I'm talking about. And also, against jets they didn't have anything. Now the Germans had the Kugelblitz, which is not bad, but the high tier Gepard will really do the job pretty well. And also the graphics on the muzzle flashes, oh my god, big shout out to the War Thunder designers, really well done, I love it. Then also I think the British, I'm not sure if the Falcon cut it in the long term, but for now, for this patch, I guess it's fine. Yeah, also the Americans get their Gatling, which also looks pretty cool. If it really works out on the live server, we will see. But yeah, then also the Germans get the second Leopard, which they desperately needed. Not so sure about the ATGM, if it really was necessary, but hey, we have a lot of ATGMs, so this will just be another water drop on the stone, I guess, or more heat for the stone, so to speak. So overall, I think the patch is more about high tier gap filling, which is in itself good, and also there are not so many planes that get added. Yeah, one the Cougar, but hey, that's not so important, at least for me and overall for the balance of the game. And I think Gaijin is now approaching the end of filling the gaps for both planes and tanks. And I think that's a good sign, as ships are announced, at least the boats. And one final addition to the boats: please have patience with it and don't rant about Gaijin doing the sensible thing to begin with the slow in the closed beta. Don't hate on them, giving it a chance, and just play it for yourself before you finally judge things. And that brings me to the part of the video where I tell you a little secret. I'm not just playing War Thunder and occasionally World of Warships. There is one game that is totally different, and I have to thank Max for showing it to me, and that's Subnautica. And Subnautica is basically, or offers me the opportunity to play something offline while something gets up or downloaded. And I think, yeah, that is kind of, a completely different game to relieve, the so-called gaming stress when you are fed up with grinding something, when you have ATGM problems or any other stuff. So yeah, but I will not show this game on my channel, as I think the interest would be fairly low, and I want just to keep it for myself. I derp around the entire day, and me derping around is not what you should see, I guess. Yeah, and you show tank reviews. Yeah, jokes aside, I think that's it for today. Again, a big thank you and shout out for Exe for providing me with such great photos, and also, having such a good time at the Hahnweide. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Duck Talks and also the footage. And subscribe if you want to see more. Like the video if you did. And see you next time on the battlefields and in the skies.